Hello. So we are very happy to be here in Casablanca. Actually, I'm an architect also, so for me it makes a lot of sense to be in this festival because as far as I understood, so the idea of the festival is to renovate somehow the ambience of the old Medina through the artistic intervention. And I think this show can take also a bit of poetry of Hamutamid to this idea of making people enjoy their city and the space. And actually, this space is really beautiful. And I think the idea of the festival is quite interesting, and we are very happy to be here with our show. This show is based on the artistic life or on the poetic life of Hamutamid ibn Chabad. It's a very important man of the 11th century, and he has this very beautiful story of life, which is that he born in the country nowadays called Portugal. He was a king in Spain, and finally the final part of his life was in Morocco, where he was arrested and finally he died. There's a beautiful thing also about him, which is that he wrote all his life. So he wrote when he was a young boy in Portugal, in his happiness, in his most happy part of his life. Then he was a king in Seville, and he continued wrote. And you can see from his words the contradiction between a man that preferred not to be a king, actually, than to be a king as he had to be. And finally, when he died, he died in misery because he was arrested from his power, and he had to search for other sense of life. So he had to rethink about all his life and the power that he lost, and he somehow redefined all his being according to that new position that he had. So he's also a philosopher, which I think it's a very beautiful story. And if we think that this man, he lived 10 centuries ago, so and still nowadays his voice comes to us as a friend that whispers some beautiful messages that we actually nowadays still continue to feel. I think there's also some poetry about this time passing by through the life of this man that somehow is still present. So what we want to do is to take his spirit to the old Medina of Casablanca today. And there is also a very beautiful story, which is in this concert, one of the musicians, the Portuguese musician, has a song that he sings from, I think, more than 20 years now, that calls actually the Casablanca Afternoons. And we decided to introduce this music in the concert, even if it's not a poem from Al-Mutamid, because it talks about a man that comes to Morocco and watches the windows of the buildings that he has in front of him, and he sees a woman, and he starts to dream about all that is in the back of those windows that he is seeing from the streets. So there is a lot of city also in the background of all this story, and there's a lot of the sense of the territory, of this old territory that actually came from we can say a common culture, because the Portuguese territory, the Spanish territory, and the American territory, somehow they belong to the same culture, were the same people that actually built it.